Ahmed Walid of The Athletic. Thank you very much for joining. How are you doing?
How are you, Steve? I'm all good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Ah, pleasure is all mine. I had to reach out today. I saw your article in The Athletic about, well, you grabbed me with the first line. In recent years, Manchester United have been in a toxic relationship with corner kicks. I couldn't put it better myself. But there has been a change this season, hasn't there? There's been a definite improvement. And, well, it's your piece. Do you want to summarize it, I suppose?
Yeah, basically, I think the most simple stat that translates this message is that since 2018-19 in the Premier League, the most goals from corners United have scored is seven in a single season, and we're right now in November and they've scored six. So there's a massive improvement on attacking corners for United and attacking set pieces in general. But the thing is, when you compare it to the rest of the Premier League this season, United have like the best goals per 100 corners ratio, even higher than Arsenal. And the reason why we use the per corner stats is to level the playing field. Because if we only use the corner goals or set piece goals, one team can have more corners than another. So it's not a fair comparison. That's why we use the per corners. So United have 14.3 goals per 100 corners, and that's the best in the Premier League. And in terms of expected goals, so the average quality of chance, the quality of chance they create on average from corners, it's 7.1. It's the second best in the league after Arsenal. So from an attacking perspective, like there is a massive improvement compared to the previous season. Like it's not only in the goals, it's the quality of chances created. So United's expected goals per 100 corners since 18-19 in the Premier League has never risen above 3.5. This season, it's 7.1. So yeah, and even in the methodology itself, I know like United's corners, the routines are not that complicated, but there is a, I wouldn't say new, but like a clear methodology, and also having Brian Mbomo helps a lot in terms of the delivery.
I was going to say he's obviously been a clear factor. Having that left footer with quality makes a huge difference. But it's not. Is it just that simple? Having two quality deliveries. I mean, Bruno's been there for a long time, and I mean, going back even to, I mean, we spoke on message earlier, but going back to the days of David Beckham, we were all about hitting the front man, hitting the front post, and just we never seemed to ever really come across a plan of any kind. We did score from corners occasionally, but for the quality that we had in Beckham and Giggs in those days, we just and the number of corners that we got because we were dominating games, we really didn't score that many from it. So it just seems like there is now. It's more of an art form. There's much more of a plan about things, isn't there? So what have you seen in studying?
Yeah, I think there's a clear idea in terms of the roles, especially the three center backs. So this season we've seen De Ligt and Shaw start most of the games, and it's mainly been between Maguire and Euro. So Maguire, when he's on the field, he's the primary target for the corners, and De Ligt either supports him or has a blocking role on the opponent's goalkeeper. And that has been very common in the Premier League in the last couple of seasons. And Shaw, I know like Shaw is not when we say like attacking set pieces and heading boards, etc. Shaw is not the player that comes to mind, like for example before Casemiro. But Shaw's role in terms of like blocking the opponent's zonal defenders is really important because it creates space for the likes of Casemiro, Maguire if he's playing, De Ligt if he's not playing in a blocking role. So this is the methodology itself in terms of the delivery, like having Mbumo like change the delivery from the right side because it allows you to play in swingers and more pinpoint delivery. It's better in swingers than, for example, Ahmad, who last season like tried a couple of times from the right side. And also in terms of the methodology, we've seen United have rarely played out swingers this season. It's mainly in swingers, and it's targeted towards the central zone or the back post zone in the 6 yard area. So they are like pretty accurate in where they want to deliver the ball, and Maguire or De Ligt or even Casemiro know that these are the zones that they have to target. So the routines are not complicated, but there's a clear methodology and awareness from the players. And I think this helps, especially because throughout the last I would say 6, 7 years, United's attacking corners were a mess. So it's a much needed change.
Yeah, front post FC every time. Like I say, it was horrible to watch. There's no point having any expectation. But now that's changed, and like you say, there is a type of corner that we tend to thrive on. But in the research process, did you notice much in the way of short corners? If you take, for instance, Harry Maguire's winner at Anfield, that arose from sort of a quickly taken short corner where Mbeumo's shot was blocked and it came back to Bruno and it was put back in second phase. But there has been a sense or a feeling, in my mind at least, that we have been more alert to trying short corners.
Yeah, I agree. This is something actually I thought about including in the piece and might do something in the future on. Uh, Not necessarily very short corners, but trying to find the player outside the penalty area or by the edge of the penalty area, like you mentioned Maguire's goal. So Maguire's goal is a second phase, playing a corner, and then the corner is cleared, and then Bruno plays it inside. But on the first phase, Bruno like pinged the ball to Mbumo by the edge of the penalty area, and Mbumo shot it, and it was blocked by Liverpool. We've seen like similar types of these corners, especially United tried it twice against Burnley. One was either saved or blocked. It was in the first half from the left side. Bruno Fernandes played it to Ahmad. He was by the edge of the penalty area and he made a late run. And it was either blocked or saved. I can't remember. And also in the second half, it was a similar one from the right side. Mbumo pinged it to Bruno Fernandes by the edge of the penalty area and it just shaded the post. So uh, not necessarily short by playing it very short, but by trying to find players outside the penalty area in terms of being late runners. And usually those players are not tracked because the ones inside the penalty area, especially inside the 6 yard box, are more important when you think about Maguire or Casemiro.
So it does seem generally like there's more thought and planning going into this, which I suppose you would expect with us having, one game a week and more time to work on these things. But is it, a case of more credit for Carlos Fernandez as the set piece coach for taking charge and as you say, doubling the output really?
Yeah, I think surely there's a credit to Fernandez and the coaching staff, and also the players. Like there is a clear buy-in from the players, and like we saw, like it against Tottenham, this was only the third corner in the whole game for United, but there was a belief in the 96th minute that they could score even with 10 men, and they did. I also think like improving the delivery by having Mbumu changes it massively. And because you have Harry Maguire and Casemiro, who are two of the best like attacking player on offensive set pieces in the league, probably. So all this together with the input from Carlos Fernandez and having more time, as you said, on the training pitch to train this, all this together gives us a better output, basically.
Brilliant. Long may it continue. But Ahmed, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming on. Legend, top man.
Thank you, Steve. It was a pleasure, and hopefully come on again.
Anytime. Be careful what you wish for.